too late.
Unless you buy it for your driver, you know. Where to put this? This device is.
Well, that's where you can get the Hummer extended lean machine and have somebody drive for you.
That's true. Yeah.
That's 23 feet long or whatever, 50 feet long.
I love the scene in Being There where Chance, the gardener, Chancey Gardner, if you ever saw it, he's mentally behind, and he comes down the steps to the front door of the estate that he's staying at, and the master of he opens and closes the door, but also calls for cars for anyone that needs a car. And so he says to him, "Would you like a car, sir?" And he goes, "Yes, I would love a car."
Wouldn't we all?
He's obviously thinking he's getting a car. But of course it's just the car to take him where he tells the chauffeur to take him.
I would love a car.
Yes, and so of course the car actually shows up, and they're getting him into the car when the doctor, who's the only one on the estate that realizes this guy is not all there,
That's really funny.
and is actually tending him because he had been injured and so on, and that's why he's in the wheelchair. And he says to him, "Are you going somewhere?" And he looks at him and says, "No." He wasn't planning on going anywhere. He would just love a car, you know. So of course the car is canceled and off. That's a funny movie if you ever get the chance. I used to have a copy of it. I lent it to someone. Never came back.
Oh.
That happened. But it's just a thing, you know.
Especially in my family, that happens. You don't know nothing to nobody.
Yeah. But I still lend out movies that I have to folks if they. Although there are a few, the hard to get ones, I'll kind of.
Yeah. It's like off limits.
You know.
We want you here at the house. That's it.
Speaking of which, when we get to our last class day of the semester, which is a double session, I think I have the right date listed on the syllabus, I'm pretty sure. In any case, it's not mandatory for you, and that's because if there are conflicts, being interested in making sure you like me more than everyone else, I make sure that if you have a conflict, you could go to the other one. You don't have to worry about coming to mine.
That's reassuring, but I'd much rather come here.
Yes. But what I will be doing, since I'm the one that has to be here, I usually show a movie of some sort. I'll bring a bunch of movies, and if there are other folks here, we'll vote on what movie. But some of the movies I have a movie called Wittgenstein, which is, I think, relatively rare. It was in European format only for the longest while, but finally I got a copy of it when they how hard could it be to change the format of the DVD to American video? So once it did that, I got a copy of it. And since that's a weird movie, not very many people are even aware of Wittgenstein and how important Wittgenstein was, having created 2 schools of thought in one lifetime, the analytic philosophy on the one hand and language analysis on the other. Kind of interesting. But it's an interesting movie. It was the producer, director was Derek Jarman, who had an agenda in the movies he made. And his agenda was that he was gay and wanted other people to feel like a lot of people were gay. So in his movie on Wittgenstein, he depicts practically everyone as gay, which, depending on how you interpret things, of course, for one, was illegal in England at the time. But in any case, is controversial because, even Ray Monk, who was the biographer of Wittgenstein, among others, a lot of people that wrote about Wittgenstein, but Ray Monk, I think, is the best one out there. He addresses it and argues that it was controversial. No one, for one thing, he did ask his cousin to marry him, and she said no because she was appalled.
No way, man.
Because Wittgenstein was not the kind of person you'd want to spend your life with, I suppose.
Aside from being your cousin.
Yeah, like I wasn't even.
Yeah. She had other plans, actually. And he was surprised because being autistic and thinking, well, of course, if he says, will you marry me? The answer is yes. He was actually shocked when his cousin said no. But that's part of being Wittgenstein. But he did have students that he was very fond of and went places with. On the other hand, that doesn't necessarily mean the sorts of things he did with them were the kinds of things that, even if they slept in the same bed, for example. I mean, there are millions and billions of people that have slept in the same bed with other people, like family, friends. Abe Lincoln was one of my favorites. Abe Lincoln, traveling around the court circuit, would travel with the judge and the opposing lawyer, and the three of them, to save money every night along the way, would sleep in the same, because the inns didn't have like king beds, queen beds, multiple beds. They had like one bed for the three of them in the room that they rented, as they traveled around. So you can imagine, during the day they're, the judge, the two lawyers fighting one another over each of the cases that came forward, and then at night they have dinner together, and then they're sleeping, and not just like, it wasn't like a big bed. So they're clearly like, that doesn't mean that they had a improper relationship at all, of course. So, in any case. But so I have that movie. I have other movies that, of course, are philosophically interesting. The Circle, I have, which I think is kind of philosophically interesting if you've had a chance. Any of you watch the movie, see the movie, The Circle?
Never heard of it.
So Tom Hanks is in The Circle. It's kind of Google or Facebook, except it's called The Circle. And it's a little futuristic, but that's the question. It's not that futuristic. It's like almost now. The only thing is that the cameras they have are like little balls, and they have them all over the place. Well, we have cameras all over the place, so in a sense, things are becoming more transparent. So you can see the writing on the wall that eventually privacy will not really be anything like what it used to be. And that's the question, the philosophical question. All the good things that can come out of transparency. The guy that tries to steal something, everyone knows who it is, watches them do it. There's like no problem with the trial or anything else. That's you, yes, yeah. This is what you're trying to break into that car. Oh, yeah. And you were drunk, yes. We could see you taking too many drinks at the bar, because here's you drinking at the bar, here's you wandering down the street, here's you trying to break into this person's car, here's you stealing the car, driving and running into the mailbox and getting the car stuck, and then running away. So we know everything is open. There's no, we don't even need witnesses. We have witnesses. So there's good things that come from that. Criminality will be kind of stomped on. On the other hand, a lot of things that we like to keep private Are there legitimate reasons for wanting those to be private?
Well, you know, you don't want someone watching you wipe your butt. You
What, you don't?
do
Yeah, why? Sorry, I'm just being rude.
Yeah, why?
that. You know,
You know, if
or if you're
I can
your
actually
significant
picture a
other and
situation
you are
where-
having a
say it's a retirement home and the person is suffering from dementia, can't do anything for themselves, and people that love that person are worried that the person's being abused, and part of it would be how they're being cared for. A video of them having